Brian Daboll spoke to the media this morning and said there will not be a quarterback controversy. But I got to ask this question because I have been asked it maybe 100 times since the game ended and Darren Waller got mugged in the end zone. Who is the better quarterback? Is it Daniel Jones or is it Tyrod Taylor? Type the initials of the guy you think should be QB1. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. You know, it wasn't a dream. It was not a dream. The Giants had the ball at the 1-yard line to close the first half, and they did not score points. The Giants had the ball to close the game at the 1-yard line, and they did not score points. They are now 1-5 after they have fallen to the Buffalo Bills 14-9 on Sunday Night Football. We'll talk about the game. I'll give you my thoughts on Tyrod Taylor, and I have some winners and some players that really shined in yesterday's game. But let's start with the biggest story that continues to surround this football team: Daniel Jones and his neck injury. Jones spoke to Sunday Night Football sometime this week. We have a quote on that. But he told them that it is his goal for him to play Sunday against the Washington Commanders. We also heard last week his goal was to play against the Bills on Sunday Night Football. And I got to be honest with you. After hearing this report from NBC, I'm not sure how Daniel Jones is going to play another snap this year. Quote, Melissa Stark said this, who works for NBC. I talked to Daniel Jones in pregame warmups, and he says he feels the pain on the left side of his neck. He's having symptoms into his left shoulder, and he said he can throw, but the concern tonight was taking contact, getting hit in the game. I want to focus on the part where he said he feels pain on the left side of his neck, and that goes all the way down to his left shoulder. If you have a neck injury and it is affecting your body in other parts of your body and not your neck, that is a problem. And you are not ready to play not a contact sport. Football is not a contact sport. It is a collision sport. And if you feel pain in your shoulder due to a neck injury, you are not ready to play football, and you are not in a spot where you can brace yourself and take hits. I'm not sure how Daniel Jones is going to return this year. Because what? Do you wait a week until it's like, all right, he's not feeling pain in his shoulder anymore from his neck, he's good after a week? That tells me, no, you're not good. That tells me you need an extended period of time to rehab, and it leads me to believe that this injury is going to be long-term, just like it was in 2021 when it ultimately ended the season for Daniel Jones. I don't want him to play. And it's not because I don't think he helps the Giants win. He is the best quarterback on this team. He puts the Giants in the best spot to succeed. But I care about the person, and I care about the well-being of Daniel Jones going on into his life well beyond the years of wearing number 8 for Big Blue. Neck injuries are serious, and you don't want to roll the dice and play with those, especially when you're feeling results of your neck injury in other parts of your body. It's very frustrating, and it's very saddening for Daniel Jones. I feel extremely bad for him for the injury. So I want to ask this question. I'm not a doctor, and if you're watching this, you're probably not a doctor either. You may be. I don't know. Will Daniel Jones play again this year? I don't know how he does. I don't know. Type P for play, type R for rest. I want to hear from you guys. Let's go through some takeaways that I had in the game. Look, I'll say it right now. I don't believe in moral victories. I think moral victories are soft. But I will say the defense played their asses off yesterday against the Buffalo Bills. I'm not saying that performance is going to carry over into next week and carry over to next week. We're talking one game, 160-minute game. The Giants' defense played some of the best defense you'll see all year long. They held the Buffalo Bills to less than 300 yards. They forced Josh Allen into a terrible day. He threw an interception. Their rush defense, yes, it allowed 128 yards, but when they had to get a stop, when they had to make a big play, they showed up. Forced two turnovers, and they won the time of possession. We have a stat that I'm going to tell you guys about later in the show. You're not going to believe it about how the Giants lost this football game. I do want to single out 2 players on the defense that I thought really flew around all over the field, played like their hair was on fire, and made play after play after play. Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden. They were excellent at the inside linebacker spot, and it was the first time in a long time of a lifelong Giant fan that I have been proud of the way that the 2 inside linebackers have played on this football team. In Pro Football Focus, they showed that in their grades for Okereke and Micah McFadden. They were all over the field, and they really stuffed the stat sheet. Between the 2 inside linebackers, they had 18 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 3 pass breakups, and 2 turnovers forced. Really, Bobby Okereke forced 2 turnovers. He had a punch out, a little Peanut Tillman punch out on the sideline. That was recovered by the Giants. And also, Okereke got his hand on the ball that popped in the air that McFadden ended up picking off. Those guys were great, and they were really the heartbeat of this defense that allowed just 14 points to the Buffalo Bills. And the facts are the facts. If you hold a team in the National Football League to 14 points in the year of 2023, you're supposed to win the game. But the Giants, they did not, because they have not scored an offensive touchdown since week 2 against the 49ers, September 21st. It is incredible to say that out loud. All right, let's get to what everybody's talking about and everyone's asking me about. Daniel Jones versus Tyrod Taylor. Did the offense look better than with Tyrod? Is this something to worry about? Let's just cut to the chase. The offense 100% looked better last night with Tyrod Taylor. Still only scored 9 points, so the bar is extremely low. But I just felt like Tyrod looked more comfortable in this offense, behind this offensive line, and throwing the ball. He was just a better scrambler. I would say if Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor had to run a 40, 50-yard dash, Jones is probably going to win. But he's a runner compared to Tyrod Taylor is a scrambler. And that was on full display on a play that got called back because Evan Neal was 2.5 yards past the line of scrimmage. Taylor's in the pocket, feels the pressure, rolls to his left, and throws a 50-yard dart in the air to Jalin Hyatt on the sideline. He Damani Toomer toe taps and gets a catch, but he gets called back from a penalty. I thought Tyrod Taylor made a little bit more out of nothing than what Jones has done so far this year. I'll also say this. Even if you believe the Giants' offense looked just as good, that is a problem because franchise quarterbacks, they elevate others around them. Does Daniel Jones do that? I think at this point it is fair to ask that question because we saw last night Josh Allen pull a rabbit out of his hat how many times by evading pressure, pocket mobility, Micah McFadden off a little blitz stunt right in the face of Josh Allen. Josh hits him with a little inside and out, rolls to the right, makes a play. What about the touchdown pass that gave the Bills the lead to go up 14-9? Josh Allen throws it in the third-string tight end who hasn't been targeted all year long, isn't even looking, and when he turns around, the ball is on the money. The point is, if you pay a quarterback $40 million, $92 million guaranteed, $160 million potentially, that guy is supposed to change the way this offense plays. And I'll tell you this much. It didn't look a whole lot different with number 2 under center compared to number 8. And I'll even go as far as to say it looked much better with Tyrod Taylor calling the shots. Not a good spot if you are a fan of the New York Football Giants because there's no reason to play Tyrod Taylor over Daniel Jones. Just look at how much money they're paid and just a bad spot. We're going to talk about Saquon Barkley and the impact he had on this game and honestly the impact on this offense coming up in a second. But first, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor, Marine Layer. Go to marinelayer.com/chatsports15 and use the promo code chatsports15 to save 15% off. It's official. I found the softest t-shirts and hoodies of all time. So soft, it's absurd. All thanks to San Francisco-based brand Marine Layer. Marine Layer is the go-to brand for great fitting and stylish closet staples. Their clothes are that perfect mix of laid-back style that also looks and feels premium. It feels like my old shirt that I've washed a million times, but also looks put together. Somehow, it's magic. The best part, if you buy any 3 tees from Marine Layer, you automatically get 20% off. Get one for you, some for your friends and family. Boom, you've won the holidays. Go to marinelayer.com/chatsports15 and use the promo code chatsports15. And with the winter and fall months here, you can get hooked up with this sick hoodie that I am wearing right now. The vintage heavy slub hoodie in India ink. It's cool because it's not too heavy, but it's going to keep you warm as well. You can go and wear it on a walk in the morning, and you're really going to enjoy it. I'm a big fan. It's soft, and it fits me perfectly as well. I think we can all admit that the perfect tee or hoodie can be hard to find. Look no further than Marine Layer. For a limited time, get 15% off with the code chatsports15 at marinelayer.com/chatsports15. That's code chatsports15 for 15% off your entire order at marinelayer.com/chatsport15. That link will be clickable in the comments and description of today's show. Alrighty. What I was really impressed about Saquon Barkley was after he missed all that time after hurting himself in week 2 was his ability to come back and be effective, but he got better as the game went on. Go back to that fourth quarter. He ripped off a 33-yard run. He ripped off a 19-yard run. He looked good. He looked explosive. He got his feet under him. He talked to the media after the game, and he said he had to just shake that rust off him early in the game. And it's always good to see number 26 healthy in that backfield because Saquon Barkley is the type of player that he can change the game with just one carry. And he honestly did that in the fourth quarter. I enjoyed watching him play. He's one of my favorite players to watch play. But at the end of the day, this offense still scored just 9 points with him on the field. And it's not because of him. It's not his fault. Nothing that this team has struggled with on offense is really Saquon Barkley's fault. My point is this. No matter how great Saquon Barkley is, no matter how funny he is to watch, how much of a home run hitter, how explosive he is, this team has a whole lot of problems. And I just don't know if Saquon Barkley's greatness is the key to fix all of those. Great player. Love watching him on this team. Wish he would have been in the game on 3rd and inches. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The room for error is so small for the New York Giants, and we know that. Look, we're not a good football team. Let's face the facts. We've been through 6 games this season, and we've only found a way to win 1, and it was because of the 20-point comeback. I remember, playing sports growing up. I think everyone's heard this saying. Good teams find ways to win. Bad teams find ways to lose. And the Giants are finding new ways to lose football games. Listen to this right here. The New York Giants are the only NFL team in the Super Bowl era to have more rushing yards, passing yards, fewer INTs thrown, fewer fumbles lost, and fewer missed field goals than their opponent, but still lose. Up until last night, teams had been 134-0 in those situations. Look, bad teams find ways to lose, and unfortunately, that's what the New York Giants are right now. I don't like to blame games on refs. I don't like to have moral victories. I don't like to blame games on one play. But there are reasons the Giants lost this game. It comes back to that play before halftime, man. You have the ball on the inch-yard line, 14 seconds to go, and you get one play off. Look, at first, I was all in the train that it was Brian Daboll's fault. But after hearing Tyrod Taylor speak, I'm still going to give blame to both sides. Look, this is what happened. Brian Daboll gave Tyrod Taylor a run-pass action. That's what he called it. That means he went to the line of scrimmage with 2 plays. A pass play first, and you could check into the run play if the defense gave you a favorable look. My thing is this, Brian Daboll. You said there was communication. So did you tell him he just absolutely can't run the football? And if you did, does that mean Tyrod Taylor just said, F you, Brian Daboll, I'm going to do what I want to do? I'm not sure, but I know this. Brian, if you didn't want the Giants to run the football, don't call a run-pass action. Just call a pass play, brother. I think you might have put a little bit too much weight on your backup quarterback that hasn't practiced with the ones until this week. I'll blame Tyrod Taylor as well. You're a 13-year pro. You should know the situation. You should know with 14 seconds left, you can't run the ball with no timeouts and get another playoff. Both are to blame. But I'm always going to blame the head coach over a backup quarterback because the head coach is always going to be the guy that's going to be blamed in front of the backup quarterback. At least that's the way it should be. Another thing, you had 5 red zone trips. 5 golden rings. 0 touchdowns. 0 touchdowns on 5 red zone trips. You don't win football games doing that. And what the Giants did well last year, the sauce that they invented, they haven't been able to duplicate it this year. The Giants were the 5th best red zone offense based off a TD percentage in 2022. They scored touchdowns on 65% of their red zone trips. They're doing it just a 29% clip this year. There's a lot of reasons the Giants are bad. There's a lot of reasons the Giants are 1-5. This one right here, that's at the top of the list. Last takeaway, Darren Waller was 100% held. It wasn't even close. I've watched the replay 100 times. I've shown the pictures on the show last night. They're all over my Twitter. When you're a receiver and you're being held like this and you can only get one arm up, probably impedes the way you can catch the football. Look, the refs didn't do the Giants any favors. The Giants didn't lose because of the refs, but the refs sure did make it hard. And the Giants, like we said, are not a good football team. It's hard to beat the Bills on the road, on Sunday Night Football, with Tyrod Taylor. It's extremely hard to beat those guys as well as the Zebras. 4 major game-changing calls, in my opinion. The blocking downfield on Evan Neal, where Tyrod Taylor rolled to the left and threw a 50-yard dart in the air to Jalin Hyatt, toe drag swag on the sideline, gets brought back because Evan Neal is 3 yards downfield instead of the 2 on the backside of a rollout play that had nothing to do with the play. The roughing the passer on Bobby Okereke, a joke. Look, there's a lot of quarterbacks in this league that don't get that call. I think we've all been told when you get running outside the pocket, you lose that protection from the ref. except if you're Josh Allen. He goes to make a jump pass. Okereke literally hits him in the chest, and he gets called for roughing the passer. The defensive holding on Leonard Williams is getting beat by the guy that's blocking him. He's about to pancake him, so he puts his arm around him to keep him up. Terrible call. And then the no defensive pass interference call on Darren Waller. Giants lost this game. They deserve the blame. But I want to ask this question. Is it fair to blame the refs? Is it fair to blame the refs? What do you think? Why for yes and for no? I also just want to clap it up for Justin Pugh, man. Got off to a rough start after he went from left guard to left tackle. Thing is, he's not a left tackle. I don't think he's played left tackle since 2015 or it was 2018 in the National Football League. But he went out there. He gave up 2 sacks. He said it was based off the cadence, which is 100% acceptable. He's never practiced left tackle with the Giants. He doesn't know how Tyrod Taylor works the cadence. But after that, he was locked in, and he played his absolute tail off. Honestly, this was the best way the Giants' offensive line has played all season long. I wonder if that has a little bit to do with the quarterback that was more decisive, more direct, and quicker to get the ball out of his hands. They allowed just 14 total pressures, just 2 sacks and 3 QB hits. And it's not against a bad defense. The Bills are actually one of the best defenses in the NFL. Entering week 6, the Bills had forced the most turnovers and had the most sacks as a defense. And these guys all played their butts off. Shout out to Justin Pugh, Mark Lewinsky, Ben Bredesen, Marcus McKeithen, and Evan Neal. I thought they really came out of the game strong, and then Azudu got hurt, and they had to do some reshuffling. Hats off to those guys. I've been extremely critical of their play, but they played their best game of the season, and they gave the Giants a chance to win this game. I also like what I saw from Jalin Hyatt. Had 3 catches last night for 20 yards, but he played like 50 snaps. It was the most amount of snaps he played. That catch he had on the final drive where he runs that 12-yard dig route, goes to the top shelf to catch it, ball up here, takes a shot in the ribs, comes down, catches it, drives, keep moving. We're typing ones in the comments. Big play by Jalin Hyatt. He also had a 47 reception, walked off because of a backside freaking illegal blocking downfield. A joke. Love what I saw from Wan'Dale Robinson as well. 8 receptions for 62 yards. His ability to catch the ball in the slot and go from catch to tuck to turn to north and south is truly incredible. Split a couple of defenders a couple times. Brian Daboll said it. He's going to continue to work in Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalin Hyatt. The only way for young players to get better is by playing, and I am proud that they are going to continue to be a part of this offense. They're high draft picks, 2nd and 3rd round picks. Giants need them to produce. As always, I just want to say thank you and appreciate you. Everybody that tuned in to last night's watch party, thank you. It's easy to quit on the Giants right now. It's easy to be a Giants fan when you're 6-2 with your chest out last year. You beat the Ravens and the Packers. The real ones show up right now. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that continues to support this channel. We love you, and we'll be back soon. Let's go, Big Blue.